Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel we like to walk a very fine line between a shopping addictive makeup monster and a responsible adult with a makeup hobby. Now, I really enjoy eyeshadow singles, duochromes, multichromes, blush, highlight, lip gloss, basically everything except pressed glitter. And today we are going to be taking a look at the palette bundle that I have curated for myself for the month of March. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me. We're getting into it right now. Okay, so if you have not been around for a hot second, I started a project in January to use all of the unused palettes that I had in my collection. So I gathered them all up, I divvied them out into 12 sort of piles, if you will, and this is the pile for March. With each of the bundles that I'm doing, I am including one face palette because I do have a bunch of unused face palettes in my collection. So for this month, it is the Cosmic Brushes or Cosmic Beauty Frosting Trio. And this is one of their highlighter palettes. It looks like this. So you have this very pretty, like, kind of lime green gold, sort of a Sprite iridescent, if you will. Cinnamon Swirl is more of like a toasty kind of pink to peach, and then Blueberry Muffin is that sort of navy cobalt blue to purple to sort of a fuchsia at the most extreme angles. So I'm excited to give this one a try. You know, inner corners, brow bone highlight, cheek highlight. I'm excited to try this one out this month. Now, in terms of palettes, what I tried to do was sort of divvy things out between like older and newer things that I had gotten that I haven't used yet. And I tried not to make all the same color stories show up in one month. So for example, I had a bunch of neutral palettes, so I tried to divvy them out between the 12 months. I had a bunch of like olivey green palettes, same thing. And this month, I think because I was trying to divvy it out so much, I ended up still kind of getting some similar things back to back. But yeah, we're gonna make it work. The first palette to talk about is Delicious Delights, and this is sort of their pastel brights palette, if you will. It's got, I think, 2 multichromes in it, 3 regular metallics, and then an iridescent that's in here. This actually does kind of look very similar to the Frosting highlight shade, so I'm curious to see how those kind of play out with each other. But looking forward to giving this one a try. I think this is going to be pretty and fun to use this month. Next up is the Blend Bunny Sickly Sweet palette, and I think this is where I get a little bit of overlap because I wanted to divide up the Blend Bunny palettes. I wanted to divide up the Cosmic Beauty palettes that I had, the Glamlite palettes that I had, so I ended up getting some stuff that was kind of similar. So despite the Delicious Delights being kind of a brights and a bit pastel, this is definitely more pastel. This is one of the palettes where she started doing the different like variation rather than the lines. I actually kind of like the lines. I'm not going to be like a Karen about it and complain on like Instagram or whatever, or like throw a huge fit, but I do kind of like the lines. I think it's just so satisfying to look at. But either way, I still wanted to pick this up, so I picked it up at Black Friday, and I'm very excited to give it a try and see what I think. This cupcake shade looks like it is going to be super, super sparkly, so I'm quite excited for that, and Big Feelings definitely caught my attention. So we'll see what this one looks like throughout the month. Next up is a mini palette. This is from Drizzle. This is the Siren, and when it originally launched, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to get that palette, and then I feel like 500 other things launched, so I ended up not picking up the palette right away, and then when it went on sale for Black Friday, I was like, cool, I'll go ahead and get it. I'm glad I actually physically received it though, because I feel like the brand has kind of gone radio silent, so we'll see what comes of that. But I do think it's a pretty color story. I think the metallic and duochrome shades that they picked out were really bright and poppy, so I can't wait to give this one a try and see what I think. Then I managed to give myself a bunch of Glamlite things all in one month, so again, in my effort to spread everything out, I still kind of got it stuck together. But this is the Ghostface palette from Glamlite. I have used this once. It's part of the eye look that I have on right now, and I'm excited to try this one throughout the rest of the month. It is definitely very monochromatic in terms of like it is gray, but it's like all these different funky undertones of gray. So I still wanted to get it and give it a try and see what I think. This shade was probably the most appealing metallic out of the entire palette, but we'll see what the rest of this palette brings throughout the course of the month. And then I did also include the 2 Freddy Kreuger palettes here. So we have the Freddy Kreuger palette first. That's the olivey green kind of color story here, and of course that is super appealing to me. This Killer shade is probably my favorite, maybe even Vengeance too. It looks so smoky and like olivey green. I think that's going to be so fun to use. And then the Dream Master palette is the other one. This is the red and silver, so looking forward to giving that one a try as well. I think this is going to be, you know, a really fun time to play with these palettes. I did try to pick out a neutral palette and a cool toned palette for each month. So the cool toned palette that I picked out is the Ciate London. This is the Aspen palette, and it looks like this. So very, very pretty, kind of cool toned neutral color story. You've got a couple bright pops of metallics in here, which I have used, I think, once previously, but I would like to use this a little bit more consistently before I kind of render an opinion on the quality. And then the truly neutral palette that I picked out is Glaminatrix Nearly Natural, which looks like this, and I have used this a handful of times, but not enough to like really give my full impressions on it, so I did still want to pick this out and kind of sum everything up so that I could put it away and keep moving through my other unused palettes. I do really like the rosy tones in here, the sort of olivey greens that are in here definitely always draw my eye when it comes to neutral shades, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a try throughout the rest of the month. I did also put in one of the Rude Cosmetics palettes. This is the Roaring 20s Neons palette, and it looks like this. I picked up the trio of these palettes, and I'm excited to give them a try. I think this is going to be cool. I used to have, oh gosh, Tribe Beauty gave us a Neons palette way back when, and Huda had her Neons palettes, which I have gotten rid of most of those. So I've gotten rid of, who was the brand that did that? Neon Drip. If Editing Heather is in a good mood, I'm going to put a picture of the palette that I'm trying to think of and can't think of the name right here. But anyway, so this palette I think is going to be really bright and interesting for the month, and looking forward to giving it a try. And then last up for the original palettes that I had set aside for the month is the Basic Witch palette from Bella Beaute Bar, and it looks like this. Oh, so pretty. I love the purples that are in here, even the sort of like greeny neutral shades in here. Hocus Pocus looks really, really fun to use. I'm not even so much upset by the oranges that are in here, so we're going to give this one a try and see what I think of it throughout the course of the month, of course. And then last up, I'm going to talk about 4 palettes that I have ordered and that have come in, and either they were so late in the month that I didn't get a chance to like fully review them, or that I haven't yet started them and I'm going to work on them in March. The first of which is the Wizard palette. Now my review video for this one, or my first impressions, is up already for this one, and I really like the color story in general. I do think there are some redundant shades, but you can check out my video to see, you know, kind of my full thoughts. But I want to try this one out a little bit more before I put it into a ranking. And then Sephora put the Melt Christmas Nightmare Before Christmas palettes half price, so I did run out and pick those up as well. So the Christmas Town palette I have tried once, and it's the one that has kind of the purple red color story, pops of green. And then the Halloween Town palette. So the Halloween Town palette has Oogie Boogie on it. Inside is the more fall color story with the pops of purple, the blues, and then kind of these orangey gold shades here. So I think both together are going to be really pretty and fun to play with. This sort of weird angular packaging I'm not a huge fan of. The lenticular motion is nice though. And then the last one I want to give a try this month is this Danessa Myricks palette, because this thing is gorgeous. I mean, you have this beautiful sort of like iridescent packaging on the front that gives you kind of like a geode vibe. And then inside, you have all these really pretty metallic duochrome and multichrome shades. And I just think this is going to be so much fun to work with. So I definitely want to work on trying these shades out throughout the month so that I can sort of render an opinion, because this is an expensive palette. This is $125. So it better be really, really amazing to sort of rationalize the price. All right, and with that said, that is everything for this video. Let me know what palettes you guys are excited to see me try out in the month. Is there anything that you'd like to see a specific look or tutorial or review on? Because I'll try to prioritize getting a video filmed with it. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.